Hello again. In this quick demo, I'm going to introduce a bunch of new stuff that we have added to the Spike code base. One of those is the new starter script, which will help you to bootstrap your development environment as fast as you can. The other thing that I'm going to show is the newly introduced secret metadata API. So Spike, essentially at a really high level, is a secure encrypted key value store, but the secrets have other information that Spike keeps internally. Those information are, for example, how many versions of those secrets are, when are they created, are they going to expire, things like that. So those metadata API, typically we were using it for internal bookkeeping, but we realized it might be useful for a consumer to see into them, essentially. So for a end user, like an administrator or an operator, might want to see, how many versions of a secret are there, so that they can delete that version, kind of a thing. So the metadata API is relatively safe to share because it doesn't have any critical or sensitive material. Another thing that we have created and I'm happy to introduce is the SPIKE SDK. So we have a Golang SDK and we use the Golang SDK internally in Spike components as well. And if you have a Go binary or Go application, then you can use the SDK to consume secrets from Spike Nexus. I'll show that one as well. So without further ado, let's begin. So this is a Ubuntu system. I just want to shell into it. And let's start with the starter script. So it's in the hack start sh. It's down here. So this one is the cleanup portion. So when you, so the reason that we need this cleanup is because we run all of those helpers as a background process, as you see from this ampersand sign. So when we exit the script, we kind of clean up those background processes. So you don't have to search for process IDs and things like that. It automatically cleans itself up. So that's one thing. So I'll go one by one what we do. We first initiate a Spire server, and then we just echo its PID so that if the cleanup script fails, you can manually kill that PID as well. So we wait for a while for the server to start. It's optional, but just in case for things to stabilize. Then we do some initialization for the server and agent to identify and trust each other. We register a super user so that we can use that SU account in our development environment. And followed by that, we initialize the Spire agent. There's a Spire agent starter script that we run it, and again we run this one in the background. And all of those background processes log their stuff in server out log, agent out log, and agent error log, those kind of stuff. So those logs you can see are here, process name error log and process name output log, kind of a thing. So after initializing the agent, let me go downwards a little bit. After initializing the agent, we start Spike Keeper, which keeps the sensitive root key, so that when Spike Nexus crashes, it might reboot itself using how many keepers are around. And then we start Nexus. So by the end of this process, we'll have, let me move it upwards a little bit. We'll have Spike Keeper, Spike Server, Spire Server, Spire Agent, Spike Keeper, and Spike Nexus. And as you see, we wait for all of those. So when this script kind of exits, we will kill those PIDs as well, and it will be a kind of a mostly clean exit. So that's that one. Let me show how it works. Okay, I'm in Spike folder. I'll check my branch just to be sure. I'm in the main branch. I'll just hit pull to ensure that I'm on the recent code base. And then what I'm going to do is I'll just do a hack start. And it will go through a bunch of processes. So as you see, we started Spire server. It's waiting for the Spire agent to start. And in this environment, we are running agent as root to make our lives easier. So I need to enter my root password. It should be fine, I guess, right now. So again, we just created this script. So like normally, the process should be waiting for the password instead of dumping out these lines. So this is a little bit confusing. So it was waiting for my password, but it felt like it's not waiting at all. So make sure that you enter the password of that user, essentially. Otherwise, Spire agent will not start. But now it has started. So I can check, for example, I'll grab log. I have Spire agent out log. So let's tail Spire agent out that log. Just for the sake of showing that things are running. So this is my agent process log, and from the looks of it is healthy. Let me check the Spire server as well. Tail Spire server out log, and this is server. Things have initialized, so that's how the starter script works. So you run the start sh, and ideally things should be working. If not, you might need to poke into it and figure out what's wrong, and that's why there are logs in the root directory for you to investigate, essentially. So if I say spike, I see a helper message down here. It tells me how to use the command, what kind of sub commands that I have. And the first thing that we do, as usual, since I am the first user here, is to do a spike init to initialize the root trust material. So I initialized it. So now I can create secrets as my current user. So for that, I can use spike secret put. Let's see, tenants acme db creds. Let's say username, root, password, spike rux. Enter. I'll put another password as well to show that the secrets can have multiple versions. Spike, I don't know, truly rux. I'll do another one. Spike is awesome. So I have created secrets. So if I do a spike secret get tenants acme db creds, I'll get the secret. If I give a version, I can get a different version. So that's the regular API that hasn't changed a lot. What's new here is the metadata API. So I'll show that one. Let me move upwards so I can modify the comments a little bit. So if I do spike secret metadata get, I guess. Let's see. Spike secret metadata get, and then let's try this one. Yeah, that's the command. So if we do spike secret metadata get and then provide a path of that secret, then we get a bunch of meta information. So we can see that the current version of the secret is 3, the oldest version is 1, This is the maximum amount of versions that we have. This is when the secret is created and also when it is last updated. And also we have some extra information about the secret versions. This is like all about the metadata API for now. Later down the line, we can plan or add some extensions to the metadata as well. Because right now, this metadata is read-only, but we don't allow or we don't have the ability to add custom metadata to secrets, but it might be useful as well. So if you can like add some additional like labels or meta information to the secrets that are not sensitive but still useful as a additional information for that secret, it can prove itself to be useful. So we might add it later down the line, but right now we don't have it. That's that one. And also we have, like I said, we have an SDK. Let me show you that one as well. I have this. Let me go to the like GitHub page. The SDK is under github.com SPIKE SDK Go. So you can navigate to it and like explore what kind of utilities it has. Best way to like read about or experience the SDK, I think, will be this interface. So there is this API Go, which is a struct, and it has certain methods defined. So it has like create policy, delete policy, get policy, list policies, create secret, delete secret, and all of them have like relatively comprehensible signatures. So for example, get secret is similar to the command line. You use get secret method, you pass a path to it, and it gives you a struct that is the secret in itself. So you can parse that struct and get the secret information. So that's that one. Again, this is like work in progress. We will like update its documentation. But yeah, that's the SDK. Let me show like how it is consumed in the source code. I think it will be like easier to like follow in that case. So in the SPIKE source code, I have an app here and a demo application. So you can go here and it's under SPIKE app demo. So in this command folder, I have a main starting point that uses the SDK. So I can quickly go through, how it is used. So what we do is we create an API instance, and also once we are done with it, it's recommended that you close the API. So it will close the SPIFFE workload API connection behind it. So you can either use this new constructor, or there is another one, SPIKE new with source. So if you already have a let's say it's SRC, if in your codes you are doing some lower level SPIFFE Spire deployment and you have an instance of a SPIFFE X509 or SPIFFE workload API source instance, then you can pass that one using this new with source constructor. So I'll show what both of these do. So if you go to new with source, it passes the source to the API construct, and if you do new, it will assume a default SPIFFE endpoint socket, which that SPIFFE endpoint socket comes from this SPIFFE endpoint socket environment variable. So if you define this environment variable and if you call new, it will use that one. And if you haven't defined it, it will use this this string as the expected place to find the socket instance. And if you have a workload API X509 source instance already, then you can just use new with source instead of assuming where that SPIFFE socket endpoint is. But in the end of the day, like in a simpler use case, as long as you define the environment variable, the SPIFFE endpoint socket environment variable, let me show you again. As long as you define this environment variable, or this path resolves to a SPIFFE endpoint socket, you can leverage it and you can use it by this SPIKE new constructor. And after that, it's simply similar to like a mirror copy of how you use the CLI. Instead of doing a SPIKE secret put, then path, and then a key value pair, you do a API put secret, you give a path, which is this one, and then you give your secret as a key value pair to the method. It's like here, and like there's some error management because it's a Go code. Without these error checks, it won't be canonical Go. So this is how you put a secret. This is how you would get that secret back, and this is how you would iterate through the data of the secret. So when you run this code, and if assuming you have a workload that is configured to talk to the SPIKE endpoint, and that is done by assigning a SPIFFE ID to that workload, then you can use it essentially. I'm also taking a note to like do this demo separately because I don't think my environment is ready yet. I want to ensure that it is working before I do the demo, for the sake of not taking people's time too much. We have demo, so let me run this one. Maybe I'm lucky and the code is configured in a way that it works already. So if I run demo, it just waits because I think the demo application doesn't have the necessary credentials to fetch its secrets from the workload API. But like I said, I'll figure it out and I'll demo the demo part, this SDK usage, in a follow-up demo. That's too many demos, but as far as a quick introduction to the SPIKE secret metadata API, and also some overview of the SPIKE SDK, and also the new starter script goes, that's all I have. And until next time, keep your secrets secret.